It's been a minute since I made a video about anything other than my backyard, I guess. The backyard's going fine, but I do want to keep making videos where I just talk about, like, I guess, like a snapshot of what I'm thinking about or like where I'm at in life, because I honestly don't care if anybody watches them. I'm putting them on YouTube so that my friends can listen to what I have to say, so I don't, so I don't have to tell everybody the same story again and again, like I tend to. But it kind of helps me because I get to just listen to myself. Like, I'll click back on my old videos and listen to what I had to say 6 months ago just to see where I'm at. Well, I guess I haven't been making them for 6 months, so 4 months or whatever. But point stands, I wanted to just update on some things that are going on or have happened, and just kind of what I'm thinking about lately. So I had made a video a couple weeks ago. I tried to make one and I fucked up, but just recently I bought a USB-C to USB cord that can plug into my phone. I figured out in my last video how to download files from my phone to my computer, and I plug my computer in to Ethernet so that I can upload videos faster. I also have some video editing software so I can kind of piece stuff together if I needed to take multiple takes. So that's cool. I definitely feel that I don't know for sure what kind of videos I want to make, or if I really care to edit anything like intensively. I know that for the big YouTube channels where people are actually getting millions of views, then they would probably, spend a lot more time editing or have nicer equipment. But that's not really the purpose of this right now, at least. I just wanted some place to just talk to myself and then record it so that I have something to talk or to look back on and kind of get a reference point for where I'm at. But so just going over some recent developments. As I expressed in one of my past videos, I'm not satisfied with the job that I work. I am looking for a new job. I found one for a company that's nearby, not too far from here. A solar panel, well, not a panel company, but they make solar technology that's very interesting. The company is small, but it's growing fast. And I applied, I got a message back, I interviewed again. I went there and I met people in person. After that, I interviewed, I think, one more time, and then I got an offer letter. The letter was not impressive. I felt that they were asking a lot of hours from me with a marginal increase in pay and then a possibility of a bonus of up to 25% of my income. I don't like the idea of working for definitely more hours for maybe more money, but probably a lot more hours and probably not that much more money. So possibly working at a loss. I did previously mention, probably, maybe, that I really am looking at working more intentionally and spending my time, like 40 hours a week I want to spend working to make money, of course, but I want to do something that I feel like is towards a mission that I believe in. Solar is a mission that I believe in, and insurance, as my current job is not something that I necessarily feel passionate about or that I think is even helpful in the society, really. But the problem, I think, there was that I'm being asked to definitely spend at least 5 more hours per week, which doesn't sound like a lot, but maybe it's more like 10, or who knows how many hours they're actually going to expect from me. And at only a marginal increase of income at best, and then at worst maybe at a loss. And while I do feel that I'd be willing to spend some time working on something that I'm passionate about, I didn't like the idea of doing that with what they presented me. And ultimately, I think that maybe if I'm going to be asked to spend additional time, like, I should be compensated for that time, in my opinion. And if I'm going to have free time, or if I'm going to only work 40 hours like in my job right now, then I can use that other time to do something that I think is beneficial, and I can work towards those goals, something that I believe in, or a mission that I can get behind, but at my own direction. So I've been kind of talking about this, I think, ad nauseum, but long story short is I sent them an email back today and let them know that I wouldn't be proceeding with the offer and that they can withdraw my application, but thanks for your time. So it kind of sucks. I feel like that's super lame. I was looking forward to getting out of my current job. I think a big motivator was just the idea or like fantasy of putting in my 2 weeks and like seeing my manager's reaction or whatever. But that's not a good reason to leave a job. Is just to like be excited to leave. You need to be going to something that you're excited to get into. And in the past week or so, I feel like I've been pretty apprehensive. It's been like day by day where I feel happy or not happy that I even have the offer on the table. So just that kind of apprehension and that second guessing myself kind of led me to feel that it wasn't the right move. I feel, well, so there's a subreddit, I can't remember if it's called No Work or maybe Anti Work, but there's a subreddit that I've been looking at recently, and it's definitely anti-work. It's not that people are against the idea that work has to be done sometimes, but it's very critical of what is expected of us in corporate America, or maybe not even corporate America, but just like working America. It's very critical of companies and how they underpay us or ask a lot of us, and our stake as employees in a company is relatively low compared to the people who own it and employ us. So all that to say is I've been looking at that a lot, and it's kind of, I mean, I definitely feel it, and I really identify with that, and I get kind of riled up, I think, when I look through stuff like that and kind of ruminate on the idea that, like, I'm being fucking taken advantage of on my job, and it's so shitty working for some place, but it's unfortunate, but I feel like looking through stuff like that isn't helpful, and probably getting like less of that would be better for me. I should probably look at stuff like that less and spend less of my time thinking about how shitty work is. And at the end of the day, I think this whole job experience has kind of led me to reevaluate my current situation in a more positive light, which is also a little bit sad. It's like definitely a mark of getting older when you look at a job and you're like, yeah, I hate insurance. I don't like customer service. I don't like working in a call center as like a supervisor, but I like PTO. I like that I only really work 40, maybe 41 or 42 hours a week on average. Really not that much at all. And I get paid competitively, and the benefits are good. Like, I feel like I sound like an old person now. And that's a bummer, but it's a reality of life. It's like there's a lot of jobs out there where maybe you're doing something exciting, or it's like a low stress job, or like whatever, but you don't get paid that much, or maybe you don't get to pick what days you work during the week, and they give you your schedule once a week. You could be scheduled on Saturdays, evenings, holidays. I don't really have to worry about any of that, and I get paid pretty good to sit at home and like check my emails, and it's boring as fuck for sure, but I mean, it is a means to an end. And I could live to work, or I could work to live. And right now I'm working to live. I would like to find a job that I'm willing to live to work for, like a mission that I can get behind and throw myself at completely. But I mean, I don't think that this solar company was necessarily that. I mean, it's kind of in a roundabout way, like pointing towards what I like, which is like climate, change, like combating climate change, equity in society, fitness, health, like being a solar company. I think that it's kind of cool, but I mean, doing sales for a solar company for who knows how many hours is not quite what I'm trying to do, and that's not really where I think that I'm going to be like happy to spend 50 plus hours or whatever, like working hard at. So I don't know. I am getting older, and I have to make decisions based on old people shit, like the benefits of your full time offer or whatever. Speaking of being old, I had this hat, And I used to wear this in college all the time. I used to just put this on instead of like worrying about my hair. And I put it on today or the other day, and I've just had it like floating around the house, and I'll put it on when I walk by it. But I feel like I might be too old to put on a hat backwards, or maybe this hat in general is just like I'm too old to wear like a flat brim fitted cap. Like that's ridiculous. But I don't know. Sometimes I see like people and they're like well into their 30s, if not their 40s, and they're wearing a backwards hat and like nobody bats an eye. But I feel goofy as fuck. But I put it on to just try it out. It feels cool. Like I guess I feel cool when I wear it until I think about like backwards hats. I think it was Toni Morrison, the author, who wrote in maybe it was The Bluest Eye, but it could have been Sula. I forget which novel. But she writes in one of her novels that men turn their hats, or boys turn their hats backwards to signify that they are men or that they've become men. I forget what the exact quote is, but when I read that, it fucked me up because it made me realize like that's kind of true. Like when you're a little boy, you wear your little hat forwards, and it's like not even you don't even think about it. Like the hat goes forwards, and then at some point in time, you're like, nah, dude, I'm fucking badass. Like I'm gonna wear my hat backwards to let everybody know how badass I am, and I'm like against the rules. Like the backwards hat is a statement of being like I'm mischievous or I'm like tough or something, and I think it's like a statement that dudes make to say like I'm a man, I make my own decisions. So as soon as I read that, and I think I read that like right after I graduated college or something, I felt so much embarrassment for like being unconscious of the fact that I started wearing my hat backwards, like wearing my backwards hat all the time, like I'm some fucking I'm a grown-up man. I'm a big old boy. It's just it's so weird. But then you circle back around to it and you're like, well, I am grown, I guess. Should I wear the backwards hat or not? And does it matter at all? Do people care? Do I care? I don't know. I put it on because I feel like a cool guy with my little hat. I've been thinking a lot recently about my goals for this year and how things have changed. I don't have it all in front of me. I have a journal, and I might do a video someday just going over that, showing what I do in my journal, how I write in it, and like how I structure it so that I have all my shit in front of me. But my goals this year were to maintain 150 pounds, which I am doing. I sometimes weigh a little more than that, but I generally stay at 150. I used to be 165 on average, like in college, and ever since I stopped drinking, it was pretty easy for me to lose some weight, and I've been lighter since then. And so I just want to keep being 150. I'm thinking about losing more weight, being smaller, because I've been looking at like weight classes for Muay Thai. I haven't been training regularly, but when I get back to it, I'd like to consider competing again. And when I look at the weight classes, people who are 150, I mean, those guys are like 6 foot. At 150 right now, I would still be planning on cutting weight to at least 140, but those guys are like 5'9", 5'10". The dudes who are my height, which is like 5'7" or so, are gonna be like 132, which is so small. Like 132, 135, somewhere in that neighborhood would be like a very optimal competitive weight for me to fight at. So if I would cut weight to get there, including like a water cut, I could probably walk around at 145 or maybe 142, and then it would not be too hard to get down to 135 or 132 or whatever I need to compete. So I should probably be looking at maybe losing more weight, which I mean I hate doing. I love food, so it's hard, but I believe that I can do it. I don't think there'd be an issue. I just have to control my portions more and eat a little bit less bullshit. I eat pretty good right now, but I guess I just really have to eat less. I've been thinking about maybe, I'm kind of like vegan curious, I guess. I am an omnivore right now. I do eat all kinds of meat. I recognize the ethical limitations of that, or maybe my own hypocrisy, because I'm conscious of like the ethical problems with eating meat and I still do it. So I'm a piece of shit. I don't know what to say. But I've been limiting my amount of meat that I eat. I cook beans and lentils pretty often now just as a meat replacement, and I try to eat eggs instead of meat. So I'll eat eggs, beans, vegan protein, sometimes tofu. Me and my girlfriend just recently cooked some tempeh, which was pretty good. I would probably do that again for sure. I watched Seaspiracy on Netflix recently, and it really pointed out that fish isn't really like an alternative, because everybody says cows and chickens and like land agriculture is like really bad for the environment. But fish is just as bad, if not worse. So that was pretty eye opening and sad. And fish isn't something that you can like turn to. I also watched something not too long ago called My Octopus Teacher on Netflix, and it really points out how smart octopuses are. So I probably won't be eating them either. It feels shitty to constantly feel like I can't eat more and more stuff, because like I don't eat dairy, don't drink alcohol. I feel like I shouldn't eat meat. I feel like I shouldn't eat fish. Like I feel like I shouldn't eat eggs. Like, damn, what am I gonna fucking eat? Just beans and rice forever, I guess. But that is the direction I feel like I should take. Like if I'm gonna be the best, that's my phone ringing, but disregard. If I'm gonna be the best person I can be, I feel like I should probably not eat meat, and it's rough. But I think I should eventually make that step, and that is, I guess, to be paired with losing weight. I am going to run a half marathon on May 8th, I think, Saturday, in Fort Worth. I'm trying to keep up with the running plan. I skip my runs a lot. Skipped yesterday's run. Me and Mikey will be running 7 miles today to make up for that, which shouldn't be bad, but I've never run that far before, I don't think. And then next week I'm supposed to run 8. And in a couple weeks we'll run the 13.1 as the half marathon. After that, I'm fucking done with running. Like, I might run a couple miles like 2-3 times a week at most, but I don't want to run this much. I don't even run that much. I skip my runs all the time, but it's still rough. And I like training, so I just got my first vaccination last Friday. I'm super hype about it. I have another one coming up on May the 2nd, I think, and that's, I think, a Sunday. So I'll get that one, and then once I have both vaccinations, I feel like I am totally okay to go back to the gym, start training again, which kind of lines up with the marathon. So physical goals for me are probably continue to run, continue to do my runs, and prepare for this half. Get vaccinated on the 2nd of May, and then after the marathon on the 8th, start training again. Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, do all that. I'll probably be staying at my current job and continuing to look for new jobs, but I want to find something that's like still going to be 40 hours, like respectful of my time. I don't really want to find something that's like, so we need you to work on weekends, evenings, like whenever we want, like holidays, go fuck yourself. Like, I don't, that's not me. I want time so that I can train, so that I can work on my other shit. Outside of that, I had goals to invest my money, which I've been doing. I don't really spend any money. I live at my mom's house. This is this is the house I grew up in, so it's pretty cheap for me. It's advantageous to her. I invest the difference, all the money that I'm not spending on renting an apartment or something like that. I don't think that I'll buy like a house this year. I know I mentioned it in the past, but I don't see why I would. I'm just one person. I don't need that much space. There's not really anything for me to buy. I guess I could buy a condo or something like that. But right now, my girlfriend just bought a condo recently. We've been spending some time over there, and it's nice. And I don't know if I need my own space at this point. I feel like I have my house where I live with my mom, well, her house. And when I need to get out of here, I go and hang out at Mikey's condo. So that's been an improvement for my life as well, I think. And with it, I feel a little better about living here. I don't feel as trapped in the house, and I think that I can continue to save my money for the time being. And that's okay with me, as long as she's okay with me piggybacking off of her condo. My mom's okay with me being a failure child who still lives at home at the age of 27. But that's okay. I pay her pretty good in rent, and I do some work around the house, so I don't think she's mad at it. So yeah, I'm kind of just like looking for better opportunities professionally, working on myself physically. I haven't been keeping up too well with my meditation habit. I'm supposed to be doing my beads every day. I miss a lot. I don't make those days up. I feel like that's kind of against like the idea of like meditation is like feeling like I'm getting wrapped up in like I owe however many beads from the past. Like it's not like that. So every day that I can, I do meditate, and then those days where the day gets away from me and I didn't make time for it and I ended up not getting it done. Some days I do it right before I go to sleep. I'll even lay under my covers and have like the beads on my covers and then just kind of like cycle through them as I'm like going to sleep. And sometimes I don't finish and I just like let them sit, but it feels good to have that like you're like slowing yourself down into the sleep, which is kind of nice. It's like it's a pregame for the sleep. So haven't been super diligent about doing that every day, but I am doing it more routinely than I have in the past, like in past years. So I'd say it's good. I don't always feel like I get a good deep meditation, and sometimes my meditation is like probably 15 minutes of just me thinking about other stuff. But when I take a step back and look at it, I really think that even just spending that 15 minutes thinking about my crap that's going on inside my head is better than me spending 15 minutes like looking at my phone or like cycling through like channels on TV or videos on YouTube and like not thinking about it. So even just to sit down and be distracted by my own thoughts is probably better than me sitting down and being mindlessly distracted by somebody else's thoughts or some other content or something like that. And probably if I meditated for long enough, I would get past some of that turbulence or like the ripples of your mental like fabric would start to settle down after a long enough time. And I only meditate for, it's usually like 15 minutes, I would say. So it's maybe not long enough for me to get to that point, but sometimes I have good ones. Sometimes I have like less productive sessions, and I think that that's okay. So I've just been doing that regularly, and it's going good. I am going to continue I need to make a better effort, I think, to do it daily and maybe make time to do it first thing in the morning, like wake up before I have to do anything and then hit it so that I never have a reason not to. Trying to get it in during the lunch break works, but sometimes if things come up or I had something else I wanted to look at, then I end up pushing it, and then once I get off work, I end up not doing it. So it's going good, but it needs to go better, like everything, I guess. Other than that, I don't know if I had any goal updates in the past. In 2019, I had a goal of getting off of my social media. No Facebook, no Instagram, no Twitter, whatever, no Reddit. So I've I guess fallen from that ideal, and I will use Reddit like probably daily, I think, at this point. And I don't like that I do that. Like I have been enjoying it because sometimes when my job is slow, then I'll just scroll through Reddit and see what people are talking about and comment and like respond to other people's stuff. People respond to me. I go and look back on my comments to see like how they were received, and it's exactly what I don't need in my life, but it has been like a nice fun thing to do during work since it's not blocked. But I recognize that I should probably get away from it. And then as far as Instagram and Facebook go, I haven't been posting on those things since 2019, but I do find myself checking them. I like to look at Facebook because my mom's pretty active and pretty inflammatory, and I like to check on her to see like what she's been posting or talking about, just to, I don't know, I guess I'm like a parent in a sense to her, that I like go look at her activity online to see if she's getting into trouble or what. But I recognize that that's kind of against what I was looking for in getting rid of social media originally was that I want to evaluate people as they are and not really like their online persona that they try to portray themselves as. And the waste of time is always a thing. I feel like although I do have some downtime at work during the day and I spend that time on Reddit playing around, like I could probably play around better, do something else that's a little more rewarding to myself and not just like a waste of time. But I should really revisit that. I think that I need to like renew my vows or like revisit why I gave up social media and what I need to give up or like where I need to draw the line, because I think that I've let it kind of retake some real estate in my mind, and I don't like that. So, yeah, I I guess moving forward, I'll be running, I'll be looking for jobs, I'll be meditating, trying to eat less meat. I'm interested in trying to make that more of like less of. So my strategy has always been to just eat other things instead of meat. Like make a meal out of beans. Make beans be the entree, and like by I guess just in that sitting, I will have saved half a pound or whatever of meat from being eaten. And that's one way to look at it, but I think I do need to maybe take more of a stance on it and say, like, I will only eat meat like once a week, or twice a week, or never. And I will probably eventually get there. I want to give myself time. I don't want to be that hard on myself. But that's, I think, the direction I'm moving. So yeah, all that to say, that's over half an hour. No, it's not. It's almost half an hour of me just kind of talking through where I'm at. So if you made it this far, go fuck yourself. I don't know. Hope you enjoy it. I don't want to be a pest, but of course you don't have to watch my videos. So do whatever you want. Let me know what you think, and if you have any questions I think would be cool, any suggestions, topics of conversation in the future, let me know. And I'd love to cover some things or my stance on stuff or whatever you want me to talk about. Just any interaction at all, just please be my friend.